Hello, I'm Doug Dormer, founder and CEO of White Pine Systems. White Pine has a proprietary platform for community care coordination and patient engagement. With online and mobile applications, our platform, called SPINN, the Secure Personal Information and Notification Network, addresses the most costly and difficult health challenges to improve both financial performance and health outcomes. When we started this a few years ago, nobody was interested in care coordination or patient engagement. Today, we hear about some new idea, some new application every few days. In the next few minutes, I'll tell you about SPINN and what sets us apart. I'll also tell you about our successes and the recognition our clients have received all the way to the White House, and how the market is responding, which makes White Pine Systems a tremendous investment opportunity. I'm sure you're familiar with the basics of healthcare in the United States. With a total cost of just about $3 trillion per year, 49% of that cost is incurred by 5% of the population, those that have multiple chronic medical conditions like diabetes and COPD and hypertension. What may not be quite as apparent is the overlap with adults that have co-occurring mental health conditions, which only makes sense if someone has a problem with depression or drug addiction or anxiety or schizophrenia. It increases the chances that they will struggle to be effective at managing a physical health condition. Adding to it another layer, those that are homeless, those that are involved in the criminal justice system, add additional layers of complexity which need to be addressed. The problem is really pretty straightforward. The United States has built its support structure with separate silos for physical health and behavioral health and criminal justice or social supports like housing. The result is that at least 34 million people, representing a $19 billion opportunity, are affected by this very much siloed system, which is why the United States ranks number 1 in terms of total cost per capita for healthcare, number 37 in terms of health outcomes, and in 2012, number 46 in terms of efficiency, one place below Iran. So we came up with the SPINN Community Care Platform, an online and mobile platform that lets us configure applications to address this most difficult problem. We sell into one common market, but really it's through 3 separate entry points or sub-markets. First, we enter through behavioral health and community health. We call our solution when we present it there a community engagement center to reflect its broad scope of what it is engaging. We also sell the same platform to hospitals and physicians, often in the form of an accountable care organization or health information exchange. There it's sold as a patient portal with a specific subset of the solution we would find in a community engagement center. And it is certified for meaningful use stage 2, so our clients receive the benefits of complying with the requirements of the Affordable Care Act. And finally, one configuration of our same platform, SPINN platform, is sold to employers through benefits companies, and it's sold as a personal health record. What really sets us apart with the SPINN Community Care Platform are our care units. We understand that people with substance use disorder have different needs than people who are dealing with pregnancy or palliative health or diabetes or COPD or employment issues or criminal justice. So we've built a single platform that allows us to express the unique requirements for each particular care unit or set of conditions or health interests. These can then be combined by any client or any group of clients to meet their unique need to maximize the level of involvement and the benefit with their clients. This is Centerstone of Indiana, our first and largest client in the behavioral health space. In this case, we see each of the care units that Centerstone incorporates within one community engagement center. They started in 2012 with the substance abuse program. From there, they added employment services. More recently, they are adding an e-health coach for physical health conditions, and finally now a new criminal justice care unit, all under the scope of the Centerstone Community Engagement Center. Now, the value of this can't be overstated. Imagine someone being released from prison, just trying to get re-entered into society, with a complex set of silos, which you saw earlier, to try to navigate. In this case, they might be guided to Centerstone, which will guide them through first the substance use program with some general assessments. That might lead to the need to coordinate for employment, help someone find a job. It also means that that same individual, very high percentage of likelihood, will be dealing with physical health issues like diabetes and COPD. And finally, he'll have to keep track of his or her own activities and indeed will go through a program to maximize that person's chance of success and avoid re-involvement with the criminal justice system. That's what the Centerstone Community Engagement Center provides. This is a look at the provider and patient portals from a PC. It's also available through a mobile device as well. On the left, we see what a view might be from a coach's view, which includes activity that the patient is doing away from the clinic, new information not previously available. It shows how that individual is doing over time. It follows the evidence-based practice models in something called the recovery-oriented system of care. That's the model for substance use that is now receiving the most attention and support from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, that part of the Department of Health and Human Services. And on the right side, we see the client's landing page, where he might have 2 or 3 care units that might apply. In this case, he might have recovery from addiction, might have e-health for diabetes and COPD, might have top goals with respect to employment. Each of these can be presented to maximize the efficiency for either the coaches or the clinicians or for the individuals or their family. Now, the results at Centerstone have been profound. In one population, the rate of recidivism rate was lowered by 50%, from 25% down to 12%, which led the Indiana legislature to fund $11.5 million to extend this kind of program across all counties in Indiana. Now, for us, that means that we will be working with Centerstone to compete and expand across the remaining counties of Indiana where Centerstone is not already offering our SPINN solution. It also means that in other counties where Centerstone does not have a strong presence, we will be working with those potential providers who may also be going after this same $11.5 million. Now, we won't receive all of that, but as you'll see, we will receive increased subscriptions for each patient that will thereby increase our revenue as we deliver more solutions across the state of Indiana. And we wouldn't be a success if we didn't also improve operating efficiency. Simply increasing the number of patients that each clinician or coach can work with is a huge financial performance benefit, which is why Centerstone has expanded from the initial 200 people to well over 1,000 people today, and moving towards 80,000 people in both Indiana and Tennessee. And of course, we have this in a mobile configuration as well, so that we can support it with mobile applications as well as a PC-based application. In terms of the value propositions, they're pretty straightforward. The first, for certain clients, is to ensure that they meet regulatory compliance with respect to Meaningful Use Stage 2. These are specific rules about patient engagement, how many people you have to have involved, and how deeply they must be engaged and participate in their own health care. SPINN has been certified for its patient portal. We can also help increase revenue, and that's an interesting area. Today, most revenue has come through block grants or larger lump sum funding through states or through certain insurance benefits. However, we now see that with the expansion of the Affordable Care Act, the expansion of Medicaid to covering many states, so that the use of this kind of technology falls within the broad definition of telehealth. Not every state uses that definition, but an increasing number are using that definition. Similarly, a number of the states, 12 right now, offer Medicaid to ex-offenders, people released from prison. In fact, in one state, 50% of the people who adopted Medicare in the first half of this year, the first year of eligibility, were involved in the criminal justice system. So we present the perfect solution for this shift that drives revenue. And certainly we improve health outcomes with measures that I'll show you in just a moment that show how we've been able to address problems and help clients improve their operating outcomes for their individual patients and for their population. And of course, we improve operating efficiency. Let me show you now a different kind of client. This is a patient portal for a traditional physical health provider. In this case, we're looking at Augusta Health in Virginia. Augusta has formed an accountable care organization, which means an association, if you will, of a hospital, the Independent Physicians Association, the home health care providers, the labs, various other providers who will collaborate to deliver services to a patient in order to achieve certain financial incentives under Medicare, and by the way, also similarly under certain of the insurance programs called physician group incentive plans. In this case, they already had a patient portal. In fact, they had several patient portals, one from one company for the hospital and one from another company for the doctors group, a third one for the labs, and a fourth one in some stage for the home health care providers. And yet that was a broken system. It didn't work when you had people trying to figure out where should I go to see which piece of the information when the total picture was lost. But more important than consolidating information, the portals they have do not have a notion of a care unit. So for people with diabetes or diabetes and hypertension, the combination of those two care units is what generates a significant savings for Augusta. The ability to optimize the patient encounter while meeting the federal meaningful use requirements is what drives the value. In this case, they estimate that they're able to save $1.8 million in Medicare benefits, Medicare shared savings, over the first 3 years at an investment from SPINN for this first population, just a smaller part of it, of only $250,000. Ultimately, this will be scaled across the entire 100,000 people which are part of the Augusta family. When we look at the competition, it's pretty clear. Some of the organizations will overlap in certain areas, but when we look at particularly social supports or configurable care units around specific conditions, we find that SPINN stands head and shoulders above all of the competition with respect to achieving the objectives we defined a moment ago. When we look at the market, you could look at the entire market for patients because the rules indicate that we will have a patient portal for everyone at some point in the next 2 or 3 years, which we estimate is a $2.4 billion market. Within that, if you look at specifically those that have the kinds of co-occurring conditions, you list the individual organizations, we find that's about a $1 billion market. But when we go at our target market, which specifically is the market for community and behavioral health, as it overlaps with criminal justice and physical health, that market, grown from the bottom up, the specific list of member organizations that we've identified that meet that close profile, is about $260 million. Now, I mentioned that we've been around for a few years, and indeed we have. We had our first client in this area space with Centerstone in early 2012 when we signed the contract. In the fall of 2012, they were recognized by SAMHSA for their accomplishments using technology. We also added the Michigan Health Information Network with a nice demonstration project in 2012. 2013 was a bit of a slow year, much of it following the Supreme Court rule decision and the election in the fall of 2012. But by the end of 2013, we began to see business pick up quite a bit. Highland Rivers in Georgia is similar to Centerstone, so they've come to us wanting to have very much the same kind of community engagement center. Augusta Health, which I just showed you, the accountable care organization in Virginia. Some of our clients are at the clinic level, so Nathan Adelson is a hospice clinic focused on palliative health. The same notion of care units carries right through and works very well at a clinic level as well. And also in Georgia, One Door Poke Network is the next one which we've just signed. We're now working with them to help refine and do a needs assessment to really set the stage for how they will achieve their vision. And most recently, we have added Transitions Retiree Benefit Group, a very successful organization dealing within the employer side, employee benefits. And as we look at 2015 and beyond, we feel that we're in a tremendous position where the success we've already seen with Centerstone, and through our partner Sandlot at Augusta, will carry forward and expand. In terms of recognition, I'll just point out a couple of things. Recognized by SAMHSA and the NIH in a White House presentation in the fall of 2013. Responses continue. We understand that there was a further recognition this year by SAMHSA, and there will be a case study announced early next year of the success of this project. We have achieved certification for meaningful use, which gives us a huge new value proposition in the marketplace. Our market strategy is pretty straightforward. We are building an inside sales team to be operated out of our offices in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We may add a few remote sales people, particularly for the West Coast and the East Coast, but primarily will be an inside sales team. That sales team will focus principally on certain campaigns around behavioral health, criminal justice, community health. Also on certain physical health niches like palliative health and, more recently, Parkinson's disease. In terms of generally selling to accountable care organizations and health information exchanges, or in the employer market with insurance and benefits, we see selling through channels. So our intent is to keep our marketing effort focused right where we know the greatest opportunity is, and being opportunistic, shall we say, with the premier organizations when they come to us and want us to go into other markets that are likely to be successful, but where they are not on our critical path from our own marketing resources perspective. The means of marketing is pretty straightforward. We expect to attend and participate in most of the major conferences. We also intend to participate in social media, which has already been very effective for us, with the blog site, with online webinars, and with presentations through other organizations online. I couldn't be more proud of the team we've assembled. I've been involved in this business since 2006, but my involvement in healthcare goes all the way back to 1985 when I co-wrote one of the first books on cost control in the healthcare industry. So the notions of cost efficiency, cost effectiveness have been a long and consistent part of my career. Chad Cook is our Chief Technology Officer. Chad comes to us with an expertise in both privacy and security, as well as high-end scalable transactions. Much of what Chad's done is in the financial services industry. In fact, in the financial trading market in 2013, Chad was elected one of the top 21 CTOs in that market. His expertise is a tremendous asset to building large, scalable, strong, and valuable systems. Jonathan Smolo is our Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing. He had a successful career at IBM before working at Bottom Line Technologies, which is where I met Jonathan. There he was consistently the top sales executive as well as being the vice president, first regionally and then nationally, of the entire sales team. We're honored to have Jonathan on our team. Finally, we have Rosalind Bean Harris, who comes to us with a tremendous amount of research as a professional services provider, having served for the Karmanos Cancer Society, for the state of Michigan, and for certain other programs at the federal level as well. Rosalind has a master's degree in public health from the University of Michigan and a master's in health informatics from the University of Illinois in Chicago. We have a great advisory board. Mike Lardieri from the National Shore Health System. Before that, he was the vice president with the National Council of Community Behavioral Health. We also have Mark Ford, who is the director of security and privacy for Deloitte. Joe Mullen, the chairman of Bottom Line Technologies and our old friend and colleague, and David Hartzband, who brings a wealth of information from the academic perspective and his work with the Community Health Foundation. This is our financial projection for the next 4 years. This is prepared following generally accepted accounting principles rather than cash. As you can see, we expect to have 26 clients by the end of next year, with over 86,000 individual members. By 2018, we expect to have over 200 clients, with over 2 million SPINN members. In terms of revenue, we see growing it from about $1 million next year to about $22 million by 2018. Now this is, as I say, prepared on a generally accepted accounting principles basis, which means that revenue is spread over the period in which it's earned. That applies to licenses and subscriptions that are paid a year in advance, which all of ours are. And it also applies to certain services we provide, like configuration and training, that in the past might have been recognized when we delivered the services and when they were paid for, now are recognized ratably over the period of the contract. So we've assumed that it would take 3 years to recognize some of those services as part of the licenses and subscriptions line. The net result is that from a revenue perspective, our cash basis in revenue will be ahead of or more favorable than this financial basis income. And you'll see that in a moment when I show you the statement of cash flows. From a cost side, the primary place we'll be spending money during these 4 years is on sales and marketing. That's the biggest thing we'll need to do, along with continuing to expand our development and engineering, and certainly to expand our operations and support staff. This is the projected cash flow for the next 4 years. Notice the line I've highlighted in yellow, the increase in deferred revenue. This represents the difference between the financial revenue I showed you on the income statement and cash flow income. As a result, you'll see that we end up with positive cash for 2015, but more important, that we have positive cash flow from operations in 2016 and beyond. We've raised already $850,000, including $625,000 from angels and from $225,000 from the Ann Arbor Spark, our local incubator, pre-seed fund. That's funded by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. We're presently raising $950,000 and have raised or committed $200,000, so the real amount we're looking to raise now is $750,000. The uses are pretty straightforward. We want to convert some contractors to employees. We certainly need to expand sales and marketing. We need to expand the development team as well as operations, and simply put, we need to cover working capital as we manage receivables in a period of rapid growth. In terms of an exit strategy, there are quite a few opportunities. We are aware of several that I've listed here, where the multiplier on the revenue was greater than 10. So we think that we've got a tremendous opportunity to be able to build a company at the perfect time, so that as we see consolidation in this market in the next 2 years, we will be in the perfect position, the lead position with respect to integrated behavioral health, physical health, and social supports. So that's who we are. That's what we're doing. I very much hope I have a chance to speak with you and tell you more about SPINN. We've included our business plan and our financial projection. I urge you to take a look and read through those where we can provide much more detail about what we've done. And I look forward to giving you a demonstration and discussing how White Pine Systems is a tremendous investment opportunity for you. Thank you very much.